Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, Dr. Stone and Don Machi already are pretty freaking fire this week, but let's stick to one show and not talk about the both of them, yeah? Um, Dr. Stone this week, I don't know how to put it. It's like I on Twitter they had like teased, what was coming for next week and stuff like that. So once I had already kind of seen a picture of what we could be possibly looking at, or that I pretty much knew that we were probably going to go into the village of the girl to meet the people, um, it was funny to me that I put up like this just, this post that said, just please be good, like I don't care about like all of the semantics or like all of the like the fandom that wants to see like certain aspects and stuff like that. All I want is a good show, a good plot, a good overall storytelling. And Dr. Stone has been doing quite well on that, so to think that I was like, oh no, just be good, and people are like, oh, well, it's already been good. Or, they just are like, oh, this episode's definitely going to be good. It's like, okay, well, not everybody's read the light novel um, or the manga to have a good, like, understanding of the whole, like, premise of how certain new characters are going to fit in. And because I'm like that, and I don't know how any of these new characters were going to fit in general, it was just fair to say that I was going to see some relatively interesting stuff when it came down to like the overall grand scheme of the show, and to see someone that thought he knew more than our main character about science was absolutely hilarious. To literally just see him getting mind blown by like stuff that's pretty simple to our to Seki. Um, But to this guy, it's like, my God, you must be a god from a different world of science. Like they're the two perfect mixtures of funny in a group. Like, not only did he have like a lughead in the sense of like, he just did all the heavy lifting, he did this and that for our main character, but now he kind of has a character who's on his side of the spectrum of, being, I was gonna say like skinny, but even being skinny doesn't really have anything to do with it. Seeing how this girl that we see is carrying this spring water, which, mind you, if you have a 2 gallon thing of water, you know how heavy that is, or like how heavy it could be, and that's just because the water. Now imagine a ginormous freaking jar that you have to wrap both hands around and fill it to the brim with warm, like hot water. So if it does even fall out, you probably almost might get burned, like it's like sauna water. Um, but yeah, it's not like ridiculously hot, but it's still crazy how much strength that would take to be carrying that. Not only like as far as wherever they are, but on top of it to carry it and pretty much have no problem with it and seemingly not even out of breath or anything. She just was carrying it like it was nothing. We saw our main character try to pick it up and drop it like instantly. So yeah, it wasn't looking so hot for him. Yeah. I truly think that this show is getting to a point where it's just great at continuously, bringing up plot points, and not only plot points, but it's good at this weird way of bringing in a character and giving him a role for us to actually care about them, giving us a role to actually want to see more of this character shine. Um, Seeing him, bring up fire and then start throwing like copper and sulfur and all this stuff in the fire to change its colors was dope. It was super dope for someone that far behind in science, to actually already kind of have this, idea or, thought process that this could work. And sure, I think people back in the day, like For instance, when they're just in the jungle or people that just live out there, they have done like what's a perfect example? I was gonna say like voodoo and like witchcraft and people who think of stuff like that. Like they usually were already in their village, and if someone would come through, or it might just be like, one of those I was gonna say anime tropes. It's probably one of those movie tropes where regardless of what you do, or not what you do, but regardless of how they kind of were doing stuff in the movie, they probably didn't necessarily do it like that, but we all seen those movies where there's like women, with the crystal balls and like, oh, I could tell you your future or your past and stuff like that. Or the case where they have like fire and they throw something in the fire, and once the fire does something like a certain thing, they're like, oh, your fortune is this because the fire moved to the left or moved to the right, something like that was always something I would see in some animes, a lot of movies and stuff like that. So to see this guy doing something like that, which to our main character, it kind of just seems like a little movie trope or some old played out, thing that was done back in the day that just doesn't really do anything to him now. Like he just treated it like it was like trash, and it wasn't anything to be like astounded by, which kind of, probably made our little scientist guy even more fearful of our character because not only does he know this stuff and, he's kind of ahead of the curve, but because he's so ahead of the curve and knows these things, it probably scared him more or less to think, what else does he know that he isn't telling me? Like what else can he do that could probably, blow my mind practically? And what we learned is it seems like one of those things might be the ability to be able to heal his priestess. So if that is the case, and he does come up with antibodies to actually save her, we might be looking at a very powerful in-game, like in-game overall when it comes down to him getting into the village like he actually wants to. So that's a good way for him to get in. Not only will he earn the trust of, a ridiculous amount of people who want their pride priestess to stay alive as long as possible, including it's the sister of the girl who brought him here. So I'm pretty sure if he helps her and helps the villages, if he helps the villagers, they're all going to be relatively happy that he did something to cure her illness, and not only cure her illness, but give her more time to live with these people. The sister that, or the priestess that we see of the sister that, is ridiculously good at fighting, we see they're pretty much practically twins, or if not twins, one was born a year ahead of the other, or like 2 years, like they're very, very close together in age. Not only close together in age, but looks are almost identical, almost like they didn't have a mother and a father. They just had a mother and she just popped out clones of herself. Like these girls look exactly the same, and so much so that because this girl went and tied her hair in like in a different knot, or she just happened to like do it as quickly as possible after getting into battle with the guy who practically almost took her out and drop a tree on her. She put up her hair in a different style or just quickly or something, and her sister noticed it off the bat, and that type of stuff right there kind of warms my heart. It's like, oh, they actually pay attention to each other to very, very small details that I wouldn't even, that the audience wouldn't even have known, right? So stuff like that is really cool about the show, and I like it when they go into details like that for certain characters' progressions, and just getting us to want to feel for these characters or understand where the relationship lies between certain people. But yeah, with our two science buddies finally getting to meet each other, and Chrome pretty much hearing the story of what happened to everybody in the past, or at least 3,700 years ago, um, he started bawling his eyes out and was very disappointed in the grand scheme that everybody was taken out and all that technology is gone. But then he gets reminded that all of that stuff lives inside of our main character's head, and not only does it live there, but it's going to he's going to rely on this guy to, understand all of it, not just understand it, but he has to pass down this knowledge to somebody who's already has a heart for science. And as soon as he saw this guy's like heart and talent for science, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely the first one that the science hater's gonna kill. Like you're super dead, bro." So he uses that against him as well to already kind of give him the instance of like, "Hey, there's someone out there that wants you pretty much done. And if you keep this up, if you keep doing science, he'll definitely be coming after you. So you need me. You need me." But yeah, overall, this show is getting absolutely hype like it's been from the start. So I can't wait to see if they can keep up this trend. And I still have Fire Force to watch and something else. I watched Dan Machi already, but oh, Accelerator, and I still have Accelerator to watch. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I'm about to catch an ultimate to the face. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys very soon with some Dan Machi, and then I'm not sure what's gonna come after that. Probably Fire Force, but with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing one, and peace.